First of all, I want to say that asking a Black woman about her genius still seems radical in 2025. When I think of genius, I think of other ideas of knowledge or other ideas of brilliance and someone else ascribing that label. So this exercise alone has given me a lot to think about, and I appreciate the reflection and I appreciate the reframing. It made me actually go back to understand what the word genius means. And when I looked at the etymology, I found that the Latin root of the word genius is to beget, is to give life.
When I think about how I stepped into my genius, I look back to my mother, who was my support and who laid the foundation for my steps. My genius was a series of steps and a journey, not a destination. And education was what the major steps were toward my genius.
Stepping into my genius, it was less a step and more of a journey. I think over time, I first stepped into awareness and knowledge, and then wisdom. And I think I'm just getting to even accept the conversation about genius. So I'm using this opportunity to embrace genius.
Self-reflection is a big part of my life and should be a big part of all of our lives. And I recognize that stepping into my genius wasn't one big bright spot. It wasn't a one-day aha moment, but rather it is a series of moments in time in terms of experiences, and understanding that what makes my genius special is that it doesn't necessarily resonate or mean that it is the story that's been told of all of us. It's not necessarily the pedigree, nor is it an advanced degree that I would normally connect a genius with, but rather it's what's truly inside.
How did I step into my genius? I really feel that I stepped into my genius through love and kindness and really hard work.
Stepping into my genius was sometimes you stumble stepping into your genius, and sometimes I stumbled, and sometimes I walk into my genius. And it's really our divine assignment. So our divine assignment is something that is already laid out for us. And it's a journey. So stepping into your genius is a journey, but my genius was to teach others how to invest in themselves as I invested in others, and to get a return on investment. But that return on investment is not all about money. What my genius is to teach them how to get a return on investment of love.
So in 2012, I had the opportunity to take a group of young people to the World Choir Games, and that journey, developing the music, conducting, really working together, but the bonds that were made between the young artists themselves, as well as with myself and the young artists and the team just overall, was quite a learning and growing experience. It showed me in a very different way that leadership didn't all have to look the same, and that I didn't have to be, I didn't have to follow the examples that were set for me.
I stepped into my genius from a very young age. I would have to say the main inspiration was my mother, who pushed me to never apologize for my artistic voice in whatever space I was in, and to make sure that I could tell stories that were authentic to who I was. When I was really young, around 12 years old, I decided I wanted to write 20 novels and self-publish them before I turned 40.
I think my genius is my ability to have a positive and lasting impact on people as my role as an educator. And during my own educational journey, I was fortunate enough to be blessed with so many geniuses.
I stepped into it. That's so funny, first of all, for me to say that I have a genius. I don't know. I think I just follow my heart. I just looked around in my community and my family and my surroundings, and wanted to make it better. And in doing that, I just ran into people who had similar aspirations, who I would consider just as genius, quote unquote, if not more. But people, I think, saw something in me, and more and more just wanted to position me. I think there's an authenticity and a humility that I approach my work with, and just wanting to help people, and so with sincerity, not wanting anything else in return, and approaching it with just a spirit of excellence. And that's something that has been instilled in me through my faith.
I stepped into my genius about 2.5 years ago when my mother passed away. And so it was by force, because usually my genius, that was a space that my mother held for me, because she would tell me all the time how smart and talented I was. But when she was no longer here, I had to do that for myself and accept that I am a genius.
There was never a time when I did not know that I was going to college because my mother had mandated it. I knew I was going to college, but I didn't know if I would ever finish because I had heard college was very difficult. After I got my bachelor's degree, I went on to get a master's degree. I went on to law school, and again, I became concerned because I had heard that it was very difficult to pass the bar. After passing the bar on the first try, I really then told myself, well, maybe you are a little bit smarter than you think you are. So those were my foundations that led me on my journey to genius, but I don't think I was there yet.
Once I decided to live my life with compassion and purpose and a service to humanity is the moment that I stepped into my genius. And then also recognizing that there are levels to it. So every day there's an opportunity for me to reflect and to learn and to see that small glimpse of that's a genius in motherhood. That's a genius in my professional life. Here's another genius as a wife and partner. Here's a bigger genius with my family and friends. So it's reflected in every single thing that I do, and it's not one moment, but a series of many, and a series of many opportunities and experiences that led to that realization.
I feel like the combination of those three really speak to who I am and how I approach my work, my contribution to the world, and what I love to do.
Love means let obstacles vanish effortlessly. And what I mean by that being a genius, is love is what makes everything go round. That's the best investment, and it's priceless. It pays the best dividends, and that's the best ROI. So how did I step into my genius? It's by teaching others how to invest in themselves and me investing into them, because I believe success benefits others first.
And when we went to the World Choir Games, the categories that we competed in were mixed. So there were both adults and young people, and no one expected that we would medal. But not only did we medal, people continued to remark about how much light that we exuded throughout the entire process. And more than the medals, that was the thing that I was most proud of.
And I completed 10 before I turned 20, so I'm halfway to my goal and intend to finish it. And I also decided that I wanted to become a director and an actor, which is not quite as common as a Black woman being a young Black director in a professional space. And so I believe that was the moment when I fully stepped into my genius.
It means your household guardian spirit. And from there, I was able to answer that question. And so I think for me, when I really felt in alignment with myself and with nature and with the divine was in my 30s. That was the first time that I think I came to terms with who I am as myself. And at the same time, the concept of self fell away to something bigger.
Who felt that teaching was more than just a job. It was more like a ministry or a calling, and I wanted to join those ranks. I was inspired to join them. So I think that's how I stepped into it, by being influenced by so many other geniuses.
I think I just would focus on the work that needed to be done and not thinking about what everybody else was thinking or saying or doing, but trying to do the work to the best of my ability to really sincerely help position people better. My dad, actually it started with my dad passing away from a heart attack when I was 16 years old, and just being inquisitive and curious and thinking about what could be the cause of that. I thought it was due to lifestyle choices, due to that could have resulted in a different outcome, with a little bit more knowledge, with a little bit more resources and opportunity. And so first, I thought it's important to arm myself with knowledge so that I can do better for myself, be an example and lead my family in the right way, and then to let that trickle over into my community, so that ultimately families could stay together longer. And so that's kind of what led me to where I am and what I do. And if you want to call that genius, then so be it.
When I fully embraced my genius was at such a young age. I was a genius by being given up for adoption. I was a genius when I was in foster care. I was a genius when I couldn't walk or talk, and I was labeled special needs and hard to place in the foster care system as a ward of the state of Michigan. And then finally, a family took me in and gave me love.
The moment that I fully embraced my genius was when I was 15 years old. I had the opportunity to teach a class at Rademacher Recreation Center in Southwest Detroit, and there was a period of time where there was a young woman struggling with a heaviness that she had to talk with her parents about. I was 15, but I was the teacher of the class, so that meant that I had to stand in the gap with her.
I think I fully embrace my genius every single day. When I look at other people that I'm serving, when I look at the young people that I work with every single day and I see their brilliance and I see their genius, I recognize that we too as adults and as leaders have to model that such behavior. So
I fully embraced my genius when the agency that I ran was named the best managed nonprofit with a budget more than $3 million. Before that time, I was hoping I was doing things that were right, but that for me was confirmation.
I think of it more as a series of moments, almost like shutter clicks that have happened throughout my life and ideally will continue to happen. I think of those moments of times when I said no instead of saying yes and sort of going the easier route. I think of it as times when there might have been confusion even to me around why I was making a decision, and every step I took seemed to illuminate a different path.
I would have to say it's right now that I'm fully embracing my genius. Being a director at Shakespeare in Detroit for their youth conservatory this year is when I have fully started to embrace that genius and to realize how much impact I can have on children who look like me, and really being able to share my voice and my story with the world.
I haven't fully. I have not fully embraced my genius, but the idea is growing on me. My view of what a genius is was so big and broad But this conversation has allowed me to really think a lot more.
So I really feel like embracing my genius was more of a process or a series of moments than a moment. Just coming to the realization that I have something great to contribute, that I am surrounded by people who want to listen to what I have to say and see me as a leader and are willing to follow and work alongside me. And so through that process of relationships and engagement, I feel like I came to realize my value and embrace the genius that's in me.
I fully embraced my genius when Arise, who is one of my fellow geniuses, graduated from our educational program.
I believe I embraced it when former students, their parents, and my colleagues invited me to continue to be a part of their lives even after our official educational partnership had ended. So I celebrate with them, I mourn with them, I support them, I assist them.
I would say after repeated success, because I would a lot of times be quiet about what I was doing. I still am kind of quiet about what I do, but you know, I wouldn't typically announce things until I knew I had done it and it was good. And so after a while, you keep getting that positive outcome, intended outcome, and I started to think, okay, it wasn't a fluke, and I mean, perhaps I am the common denominator in that way. So I think, yeah, it was just doing the work over and over and then recognizing it and believing and accepting that about myself.
She's a vibrant, talented, energetic, creative being, and I feel so privileged that I played a part in her journey. And when she graduated from our program, I thought, okay, I might be a bit of a genius.
They're always there for me, and I'm always there for them. And that's when I knew that this influence would go way beyond the daily interactions that we had had previously, but that it could be a lifelong influence.
I took my first step at the age of 4 when my name was Stephanie, and then I was adopted and became Gail. So I stepped into my genius by stepping into my genius with love because I was loved. The doctor prescribed love. They said I couldn't walk or talk. And then my 55-year-old woman who adopted me said, "What do you prescribe for this genius?" And they prescribed love. And that's when I stepped into my genius. And that's when I walked into my genius.
And help her work through navigating that very courageous conversation. And the response that her mom gave me just really lit things up for me, because we were there to study music. But what actually happened was we built relationship. We had the opportunity to walk through the fire together, and she came out more confident, and their bond grew stronger.
There wasn't a big flashy light or an aha moment, but rather it's the everyday things that we do in our world in order to influence our community, in order to influence people across the state and inevitably this entire country, because that's what genius means. It means that we're able to see outside ourselves and the impact that we have on others. So it wasn't a moment where I woke up one day and said, aha, that's it. But it was how I am able to treat others and how others are able to see and to treat me.
And even though I said to myself, you had a lot of support and a lot of good staff that helped you, I came to the realization that I was the one who selected or cultivated that staff. And for me, that was confirmation that I knew what I was doing and that I was good at what I was doing.
I think of it as moments when I'm alone in nature and I feel small. I feel like an individual wave in a bigger ocean, or I feel like an individual ring in a tree. And so those moments are when I think less about myself and more about just being. And that is when I feel most comfortable and most at home.
I've been with Shakespeare in Detroit for almost 5.5 years now, and being able to not just be an actor but come back and actually lead the conservatory is me stepping into my genius in the moment.
I would actually, I've asked myself, am I a genius instead of I am a genius? So I think I have as much right as many to be called a genius, but I still have to get used to the idea. For someone who's questioning their own genius, the opportunity to even be considered a genius in any circle is an honor.
I would say to people who are questioning their own genius that they need to recognize little successes, surround themselves with positive people. And life is a balance, so you need to have some being humble, but you also need to be able to celebrate and tell your own worth.
I would say 3 things. First, I would say that voice that is questioning you, that is maybe demeaning you or making you feel small, that's not your voice. So the first assignment is to figure out whose voice that is and get to know it and ideally befriend it, because it doesn't ever go away. But if you can identify it and understand it's not yours, that's hugely important.
Someone who is questioning their own genius, I would say get rid of the noise, first and foremost. But a genius, for it to flow, it's just like currency. I talk about money every single day. I talked about investments every single day, but it actually flows to you. And this way it can be manifested. It comes with prayer. And I would say first start on your knees and everything goes up from there.
You know, I would say to anyone that questions their genius is to continue to dig deep and look internally. We shouldn't seek validation from anyone, from social media, from other leaders, from people even that we aspire to be like. But truly it is, who are you as a person? What's your passion? What brings you joy? What wakes you up in the morning? What keeps you up at night? That's how you really reflect and understand what your true genius is. And then once you find it, once you feel that fire that inspires you to continue to do your work, dig even deeper into that, because there's no end to any of our genius. Every single day I wake up with the opportunity to serve and to be, an influence on this world. And so every single day I look to find what's my next level of genius, because it's there. It's just, I have to recognize it. Not the next person, not even a friend or family member, but truly understanding who I am. And so that's what I would offer up to anyone that's either questioning their genius or looking for their genius, or don't even see the beauty that comes with being a genius, because it's there. You just have to continue to assess, look deep, and when you think you've looked deep enough, look even deeper and dig deeper until you finally feel it, because it's a moment and it's a feeling and it's transformational for your life.
I would say to someone who's still questioning their own genius to just do it. No one's gonna do it for you. Not your family usually, not your friends, not your neighbors. So do it for yourself, and eventually if you start to believe it and show it and share your genius with the world, other people, they'll catch on eventually.
To someone still questioning your own genius, I would say it's in you. You just need to believe that, trust that it's in you, and then you need to put in the work to cultivate, to embrace, to curate all that's in you, and the willingness to want to bring it out to share with the world and with others.
I would say never give up and don't apologize for anything. I think, speaking specifically to any young Black women out there, it can oftentimes feel very easy to apologize for absolutely nothing when you're walking into a creative space. And I would just like to tell you to keep your head held high and to realize that your voice matters far more than you think it does.
Don't focus on what you might be unsure about, but focus on the work ahead of you. And don't worry about what anybody thinks or what anyone says, but really talk to yourself. Tell yourself that you're great. Love yourself in word and in deed. And when you do that, you can show up as the best version of yourself for the work that you do to help other people.
Your light is needed more now than ever. And holding on to it or backing down from it, not only does it not serve you, but it doesn't serve the world. The sooner you embrace it, the more beauty, the more light, the more justice that will radiate. So do your thing.
I think we all have been given certain talents and skills, and it is up to us to identify them and to cultivate them. But even more importantly, I think if you've been blessed, then it's your responsibility to bless somebody else. Nobody is giving you blessings for them just to sit there and be dormant. So if you have blessings, once you identify the blessing or the genius that you have within you, it is definitely your responsibility to bless someone else so that the legacy can continue.
The second thing I would say is find what is yours and get comfortable with what your own inheritance is. That is what's given to you by the ancestors. That is yours to own. And that's your genius. That's your uniqueness. That's your assignment here on this planet. And the third thing I would say is that your genius needs to be cultivated and nourished. So seek out things that feed it. Ancient texts, art is created by others' genius. And so when you get to sit with it, it unlocks something inside of you. And spend time traveling, seeing the world, and being able to have that guardian spirit guide you and let you roam.
So I would say be positive, be around people who are supportive, stay around positive people, keep learning, and take every challenge as an opportunity to make lemonade out of lemons.
If you're questioning your genius, you should be walking in gratitude that you have the mental capacity for someone to even consider you a genius in anything. And I would say step into it boldly and bravely, knowing that you are exceptional.
But to actually still continue the steps no matter how long we stumble, because all of us stumble, but don't let that stop you. Let it continue to flow, just like currency. It definitely flows to you all the time.
And quite honestly, I think it's time that we stop apologizing in general for being the geniuses that we are, because we have so much to offer the world. So yeah, make sure you surround yourselves with people who are positive, people who see that genius in you, and just make sure to continue telling your story the way you want it to be told.
And everybody has genius inside of them. It's just a matter of being awakened to it. And so never question yourself, never doubt yourself. Just focus straight ahead. It's like when you run track and you can look straight ahead, and you typically do better when you run straight ahead. But the moment you look to the left or to the right, it's slowing you down. And so that's similar to what you do when you question your genius. You don't have time for it. You just focus on the task ahead, and the results will be the proof in the pudding.